let's go. I mean, good luck!
Well, hey, good evening, everybody. We are here to wrap up the Pokemon block with the greatest game where you don't catch a single Pokemon or just do anything other than battle. Yeah, we're here with the Pokemon trading card game. We have dijonketchup and leggystarscream with Kid01 on commentary. I am Demarine, and of course we are here in support of Take This. And just if you take a look at that counter there at the bottom, we are at $7,930. We are $70 away from $8,000. Your generosity and your energy has been so fantastic. So please continue supporting this wonderful, wonderful cause. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to these three lovely ladies, and they will be able to take us through the wonderful world of trading cards.
Alright, should I count us down?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, let's get started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, first things first, we are actually starting this save file at about 8 and odd minutes past the start of the game, because what we like to do is skip a tutorial that is very autopilot-y, and we just kind of take that into account. So we're actually starting shortly after the tutorial. The first thing that our two runners are going to be doing is removing a couple, adding a couple of spare energy cards to the deck. And when they do that, they talk to a tech in the lab who says, "Oh, you have no free energy cards. Well, let me just give you a whole ton of them." And that's quite important because energy cards are kind of like the bread and butter of the speedrun. I guess I'll just kind of give a rundown on how a Pokemon trading card game works in this game. As essentially when you are fighting somebody else, you each have a deck of 60 cards. You each have to have minimum 1 Pokemon in the first hand that you draw to play down on your field. You can have up to 6 on your field at any given time, and you always have to have 1 active in battle mode. Each Pokemon has a sort of multiple of 10 as their HP. You do damage that you generally multiples of 10 for your damage, and when you run out of HP, your Pokemon's fainted. You gotta put another one active from your bench. If you have none on your bench, you lose. Every time you knock another trainer's Pokemon out, you take a prize, and prize cards are just randomly picked from your deck. You don't know what they are, but you draw one when you win. And if you run out of prizes, that's your other win condition besides your opponent just having no Pokemon left. So, energy cards, quite important. What you're seeing on the stream, on these streams right now is that we're going to be attaching fighting energies to Diglett. You can only attach 1 energy to a Pokemon per turn, and energies are what enable you to do your attacks. Every Pokemon has a certain number of attacks that they can do, and each one has its own specific energy requirements, and an effect is listed that the attack does. So, a very important Pokemon for the first couple of gyms is all fire and ground types. Ground/fighting/rock are all kind of consolidated into one type in this game, so that's why you'll see Machop and Diglett as like the same type. Charmander is, we have Charmander, Ponyta, Magmar as your fire types. We're sticking mostly to 2 types because you want to mostly stay to 2 types so that you're more likely to draw the energy cards that you need. There are 7 types of energy altogether, and your Pokemon's attack require very specific energy cards to be used. So if you have a whole ton of energy types in your deck, then you're probably not going to grab the ones you need for your active Pokemon without having extremely good RNG. So just try to keep it to maybe 2 types at a time. Versus grass type, obviously you want fire, and the ground fighting rock type is just generally good because it has Pokemon like Diglett, which can do a lot of damage for very little cost despite having very low HP. Diglett just has some pretty good utility overall. It's just kind of unfortunate to grab Diglett in this gym because Diglett is weak to grass type, and when Diglett, when your Pokemon has a weakness to a certain type, when a Pokemon of that type attacks you, you lose, you take additional damage. Resistances work in the same way. If a Pokemon of a type that you resist attacks you, then they have -30 taken off of the damage that they're doing to you. The grass gym can be quite annoying because a lot of Pokemon have paralysis moves. However, Dijon kind of got through it without a hitch.
That sighing noise is Leggy probably getting paralyzed or otherwise just not doing damage.
No, I'm doing fine on that front. My opponent just keeps putting more Pokemon on their bench, and I don't like it.
The Charmanders is just reminding me of Spider-Man memes. On the left stream, Dijon is fighting a trainer in the lobby. Typically, in some of the gyms, you only are required to fight a couple of the basic trainers before you fight the gym leaders. I keep calling them gym leaders. They're called clubs in this game, but it's the same concept. You beat 8 of them, you get your badges, you go to the Elite Four, game over. What happens with the fighting club in particular is that the fighting club has 3 trainers that are scattered around the world, and you have to beat all of them before you can take on the club leader. And they hang out in the lobbies of other gyms, so that's like kind of the only time you'll really go into a lobby to fight somebody, as opposed to just heading straight into the main gym area. So one of them is in the grass club, and we just kind of will fight her along the way. One thing very important to note: if we see when you defeat a trainer, typically they will give you a booster pack. If they give you a booster pack that's the Coliseum type, Coliseum is very important. Because Coliseum contains most of your fast, quick hitters like your Hitmonchans, and more importantly, your Scythers. Scyther is one of the most important cards in this game, because Scyther is required to do some gyms later, being a Pokemon that your entire deck relies 100% on because of its attack power, its HP, and its resistance. There's a point in the run where if you don't have a Scyther yet, you have to keep resetting until you get one. So if you get a Scyther in a Coliseum pack at any point before that, then you don't have to go through the pain of resetting over and over again to get your Scyther, and that is just like one of the most amazing things you can see as a runner of this game.
So, just very curious, Dijon, why did you reset just there?
Because Zapdos is terrible, and I don't want to fight it.
Yeah, Zapdos is one of the worst cards that you can see versus Brandon in particular, and later, I think, Steve in the Elite Four. Zapdos is terrible. It is utterly, utterly terrible, because if you get a full power Zapdos when you're facing Brandon, it's strong enough to one-shot pretty much everything in your deck.
Computer search.
Oh, computer search is quite nice. Computer search is basically a free trade card. You just, I think the way computer search works is that you search through your deck to get a card, and that can be incredibly useful because a lot of this run is just predicated on having the right card.
Setup if I had any fighting energies.
Yeah, Electabuzz is quite annoying. Its light screen move, you know, it cuts your damage down a bit, and you're kind of relying on your basic Pokemon's damage through most of this run. So if that gets cut in half, pretty bad. However, we got a Machop out here, and Machop is very... You can power up Machop very quickly, which is awesome. And half of the Pokemon, well, almost all the Pokemon in this gym, the Electric Gym, are weak to fighting. both electric types because they're weak to ground, and normal types because they're weak to fighting, and of course fighting and ground are consolidated into one type. So you have your Machop out, and it's just going to do massive damage to everything in this trainer's deck.
Machop's also a rarity in that it's a Pokemon with a 1 energy attack that does 20 damage, which is very efficient.
Yeah, that's extremely good to have. Typically, the less energy that an attack requires, less damage it'll do. So doing 20 for only a cost of 1 energy, when you can only attach 1 energy to anybody on your bench per turn, pretty...
So Relaxin' Salmon Chat has a question. How do we know who's winning?
You don't.
You really don't. Even if we both look like one of us is super ahead by the time we get into the Pokemon Dome, which is the equivalent of, you know, Victory Road and the Elite Four, the trainers in there can just stonewall one of us to heck and back. It can be really, really brutal. So, at the end of the day, no one is ahead until someone dot-duns.
Yeah, I've had runs where I've just flat out reset in the second last battle because I was getting walled there really hard and it was 11:30 and I had to go to bed.
Yeah. Freaking Kingsman.
So if anybody played the Pokemon trading card game back when it originally released, if my memory serves, that would have been 1998 or 9. Most of these cards will look familiar to you because this is based on basically the original Pokemon trading card game.
That's right, only the basic, fossil, and jungle sets are included in this game.
As well as some promo cards.
Oh, that's right, there are some promo cards. In fact, I believe if you bought this game, it came shipped with the promo card.
Yep, it came with a Meowth promo.
Yeah, I had that one growing up.
And the strategy guide came with a Venusaur promo.
So one thing that you'll notice Leggy doing is powering up her Diglett. Sometimes you want to give Diglett more energies than it really needs, and the reason that you do that is to prepare it to evolve into Dugtrio when you eventually draw one from your deck, if you eventually draw one from your deck. Dugtrio, as you're probably going to see later in the run, is possibly the single most valuable Pokemon, along with Scyther. Just Dugtrio is kind of present for more of the run. Dugtrio can do massive, massive damage to just about anything in the game, and also has very high HP.
Ooh, this is gonna be rough.
So Dijon is fighting Jennifer. Jennifer is one of the more annoying trainers in the Electric Gym, even though we have a guy with that ridiculous Zapdos in here. Jennifer can be kind of a pain because she has the Flying and the Surfing Pikachu. Surfing Pikachu is not so bad, Flying Pikachu is awful, because Flying Pikachu is probably the only electric card I know of, besides Zapdos, that resists fighting. Because, it's up in the air, you can't really attack from the ground, and because of that, as I was saying earlier, if you resist a certain type, then your damage is reduced by 30, which makes a lot of our normal strategies with that type of Pokemon effectively, not very good. However, luckily for Dijon, she's got a Magmar on the field and not a fighting type. And that is definitely a one-shot 50 damage attack from Magmar. Magmar also is really awesome to have in this deck. It's one of the better cards that you can pull if you have enough fire energies. Your Magmar can do pretty solid damage for only requiring 2 fire energies. However, its 50 damage attack Flamethrower requires you to discard an energy card, which is a bit of an investment since you can only attach 1 per turn. But when you're getting to this point in the battle versus the other trainer, you don't care, you just go for it.
So do we have time to sneak in a couple of donations here?
I say go for it.
Alright, so then we have $5 from Meats, who says, Diglett dig, Diglett dig, trio, trio, trio. Come on, y'all, let's hit $8,000. And we've got $10 from Absolutely Trusty, specifying who has the best portrait. Obviously, it's Murray. That donation went to naming the boy in Secret of Nevermore, Nikos.
Nikos!
Check me using a computer search to get a fire energy. What?
Oh, I did that first turn against Isaac to get a fighting energy, yeah.
I love it. Yeah, so as we were saying earlier, computer search, very good card. It comes at a cost, though. You have to discard a couple cards from your hand to pay the price of being able to look through your deck and grab whatever you want. And in this case, Dijon wants fire energy to power up her Magmar.
Well, let's see how this fight against Ronald goes.
Good luck, you got this.
Okay. Okay.
Stop misinputting.
More Spider-Man
trying.
memes.
There we go. Did that input correctly.
Oh no, you lost the duel with Ronald! How could this happen?
Unlucky.
Oh no! Ah, unlucky. Run over. Reset. So what happens there is that Ronald is an optional fight. To beat him, you get a card that you don't really need for the speedrun, so what we do versus Ronald the first couple times we see him is we intentionally lose. We only place down one Pokemon and we just end our turn immediately without like really doing anything else and hope that he doesn't sit there stalling and just actually attacks us.
The dream, really.
The Mankey vs. Diglett matchup is a little bit funny. It's two Pokemon with 30 HP doing 10 damage to each other.
I am a little worried about this. But
I think you only have to be worried 50% of the time here.
for the time you're worried 100% of the time. Really?
Yeah, Hitmonchan can be a tough Pokemon to fight against. It's just very powerful. It can be very quick to power up. Like the notes that I have for this run say, like, there's a reason that you really want a lot of these in your deck.
Dijon is dealing with the horrendous Kangaskhan wall over there right now.
Same hat, same hat.
Oh, immune. That does absolutely nothing other thing.
Yeah, Kangaskhan can be quite annoying. It has a ton of HP, and even though it's weak to your ground types, it just kind of sits there and doesn't really do much besides waste your time for a while. It just uses Fetch to just draw cards over and over again, which allows your opponent to build up their bench faster, and it's just something that you don't want to deal with.
On the flip side, though, Leggy was able to show off the power of Dugtrio a little bit. For 3 energy, just does 50 damage, and then for 5 energy, for 4 energy, does 70 damage plus 10 damage to every benched Pokemon. Which doesn't seem terribly... Well, you know, it doesn't seem terribly significant, but dealing 70 is dealing 70.
Yes, absolutely, and especially when it's doubled versus normal and electric types usually. Which for the most part isn't even necessary, it's just overkill at that point, but for some Pokemon like Chansey, you kinda really want that.
Oh, I see. This is not gonna end well, is it?
Oh, this is unfortunate. So even though we've been sitting here preaching the gospel of Doug Trio versus Scyther, Scyther resists ground and is strong against Doug Trio type-wise, and that's just asking for a bad time. Meanwhile, Dijon is burning everything to the ground with the Magmar and its double type effectiveness.
Yep. So just, do we have a moment here? We do have a couple more. We do have a couple of more donations here. So, thank you to Sandalphon for the donation of $65 with the comment "Executor," and that was the donation that pulled us over $8,000. So thank you so much. That is just very exciting. Yeah, the push to save the beard is on. We are almost there. That's 8,000 of 10,000, which is just amazing. So thank you all for your support and generosity. And we have J question mark who donated $20, saying really excited to watch this event again this year and donate to a great cause. It's been a lot of great runs so far and more to come. Thanks to everyone making this marathon happen.
That's amazing. Thank you everyone so much. We are 80% of the way to our goal. I think we can get there by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of bid wars out there for you to put your money towards at this point in time. There's still the names for the characters of Secret of Evermore, the names of the characters for Dragon Warrior 4 Randomizer. There are a lot of characters in Dragon Warrior 4 Randomizer, and we have a name right now for one of them. So, you know, we would love to see those come through as well. And, you know, thank you again, everybody. And if you donate $1 for every time Leggy sighs, you'll be broke.
The call out is real. But so is my luck. Okay, Amanda's down. Time for another deck edit.
Amanda plays a very interesting deck because it's a deck that is a variation of an actual tournament deck from way, way back in the day. She plays Wigglytuff Do the Wave, which is a giant stonewall because you sit there and get slept a bunch, and then all of a sudden she's doing 60 damage a turn until you're hissed.
Why did I know that?
I guess I'll take this opportunity to explain, I guess, some of the different types of cards. I've explained, like, what energies in Pokemon do, but you also have trainer cards, and trainer cards are kind of like just things that you can do in the card battle besides attack and attach energies and such. There are some really important trainer cards that we're going to be seeing a lot of, like Professor Oak is one, Bill is one. Generally, you want to use... you want to use cards that that allow you either to draw cards or search for specific cards or increase your attack power and sometimes your defense power.
Yeah, if anybody has ever played any sort of collectible card game, drawing cards, of course, is incredibly powerful.
No. What's up?
Huh? Oh. Michael.
Yeah.
Michael gonna Michael.
Michael is a jerk. Speaking of people with decks based off of actual competitive decks, if the term Haymaker means anything to anyone, that's what Michael's got.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic at this point. But yeah, there are a lot of fights that you are just sitting here and you are hoping to see one Pokemon pop up from the opposing deck because, having to chew through 2 or 3 of the high-powered basics can be a real nuisance.
This is the exact same.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to explain right there, is RNG seeds.
Yeah, so RNG is determined at the same point every time you hit reset. If you do, and then takes up almost every frame, outside of a few particular circumstances. So if you reset the game and reload at the exact same time, you will get the exact same battle happening. Which is always wild when it happens.
Yeah, so I just had the same exact battle that I had lost the round before. And I was gonna lose it again, because there was no winning. It was a Kobayashi Maru. That's a nerdy reference for you.
Nerd.
Says the girl playing the Pokemon trading card game board game.
To the girl playing the Pokemon trading card game. Wow.
Yep, so just so everyone's aware, Leggy made a swap over to a lightning-centric deck for destroying some water.
Yep, as it turns out, most of the water Pokemon in this game have a lightning weakness, outside of the select few that have a electric weakness. Wait, grass weakness, my bad. I can talk. I can talk and play card games at the same time.
Can you walk and chew gum?
Haven't chewed gum in a long time.
If I read a couple of donations, will it help you compose yourself so that you can continue talking?
Yes.
Excellent, fantastic. So we have $5 from CheetahBot with no comment, but thank you so much for that. And we have $10 from Toku, who says, card games on motorcycles? Wait, what's a motorcycle? Forget that, let's play a children's card game while standing perfectly still on the ground. So, yeah, quick question. You walk up and you talk to an opposing trainer, right? Where does the table come from?
Holograms.
The table is in your mind.
Pidge, I need you to weigh in on this too. I'm real confused.
My freak.
I had a table joke and I just fell flat.
So do you have the Scyther yet?
I do. I pulled one on the very first pack.
Nice.
And I
Amazing.
And she didn't even say anything.
So I am about to do the Scyther manipulation.
Oh, it's your turn.
Yup.
Oh, maybe that'll give me enough time to get through the 200 club. Actually, I know your RNG. You'll get through it before I finish Amanda.
Okay. So how it works is that people, because we know what the RNG looks like, have done a very good job of mapping out exactly what frames you need to open packs on, because as it turns out, inside this computer is a space RNG freezes. So if I open the packs at the right time and get the right... I can know where I am and what combination of things I need to open up. Fortunately, not quite working out, but it's it's like multiple frame perfect inputs to do it right, so...
But you got a Magikarp?
Fortunately, Amanda's got a Wigglytuff, but... I think I can actually do pretty... Doesn't have enough on her bench for do the waves.
I guess just to kind of explain why we're resetting for Scyther here, I touched on it a little bit earlier. It's Scyther is really powerful. Its attack can do like 60 damage. Its grass type has a lot of HP and resists ground, and that is quite important specifically for the Rock Club, because the Rock Club has a lot of Pokemon that either are weak to grass or are just generally really beefy, like your Kangaskhan's, your Hitmonlees, your Lickitungs. Versus the Rock Club, almost everything there is, like a lot of things there are weak to grass, and because Rock, Ground, and Fighting are all consolidated into one type, they are all one type that Scyther actually resists, meaning that they will do 30 less damage than normal versus Scyther. So the fun strat that we use with Scyther in the deck is to take all Pokemon out of the deck except for Scyther, and when you draw a hand that has no Pokemon in it, you have to put it back in your deck and shuffle again. So you just keep drawing your hand over and over again until you're guaranteed to get a Scyther.
Boom!
Well, I at least got there Amanda while you were stuck on that.
And so I now have a Scyther.
And you got a shiny Mewtwo.
Is always important. Only one double colorless, though. That's unfortunate.
Indeed.
So, of course, we mentioned that you can only play one energy per turn, which, you know, is a limitation, but there is one energy in the game called double colorless, which basically just counts as 2 energy but has no color to it. It's not any of the main 6 elements. But on the flip side of the coin, though, when you have double colorless energy and Scyther's attack doesn't use grass energy, you can get Scyther online a turn faster.
That's very, very important. Getting Scyther to do attacks as fast as possible is just spicy.
What? You're saying going fast in a speedrun is good?
Huh, who would have thought?
Hi, it's me. I'm the one who's been playing collectible card games since 1994.
I'm not sure I could read it.
I could.
I was playing Super Nintendo games in 1994.
That was
I was doing that too.
Oh, I always forget Poliwag is weak to grass and not electric.
Yeah, that's the one that gets me every time, too. It's rough. Ah, damn it. I screwed up. Played the plus power a turn early on accident.
Yeah. Well, plus power is another one of those trainers, and all that it does is it adds 10 damage to the attack that you do that turn if it does damage. However, since Swords Dance, while it doubles your attack power for the next turn, it doesn't do anything on its own, so the plus power gets discarded at the end of the turn.
Yeah, plus power can be quite nice to have, because even though it only increases by 10, sometimes, you know, you'll have a Pokemon that does 30 damage and you're up against something with 40 HP. It sometimes can just make the difference between taking them out now versus a turn later, where they could put you to sleep or paralyze you or something.
You sound salty.
Maybe just a little bit.
Or they can lure you, like this Rhyhorn.
It's fine, you don't need to attack, it's okay.
Here, wait, I can save this. Yes.
Is that a Doug Trio that I saw?
being able to get Raichu out is quite nice as well. Raichu has some pretty hefty HP reserves, and once you get like 4 energies on it, it can just do a lot of damage.
Yeah, agility at 2 energy only does 20 damage, but it's a nice setup ability because half the time you'll take no damage next turn.
Oh, did we talk about how the, when you're fighting the club leaders, the deck is literally stacked?
I don't think so. So as it turns out, the club leaders cheat.
That seems unfair.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Welcome to Pokemon Trading Card Game, the game.
Unfair in a trading card game? Well, I never.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So in order to make these, battles against the club leaders feel more epic, they kind of stack their decks a little bit to prevent you from doing really fast 1 or 2 turn victories. So they're guaranteed to always have at least 2 Pokemon and 2 energies in their opening hand, and 2 more Pokemon and 2 more energies in the top. I think it's like 4 or 6 cards of their deck.
I think it's 5.
It's somewhere in there.
That sounds pretty rotten to me.
Yeah.
In addition to the club leaders cheating, the battles versus them require 6 prizes to be drawn as a win condition instead of your standard 3 or 4. So, not only do they cheat, they get to cheat for even longer.
This is not gonna go well.
That seems very, very unfortunate.
It is.
Ooh, I don't like this. I don't like this.
What don't you like?
Tauros.
What's so wrong about Tauros?
It's a normal type Pokemon instead of a fighting type Pokemon, so Scyther doesn't resist any of its attacks. Which means I can start taking a buttload of damage if I'm not careful or fast enough in setting up.
Yeah, you do have one of the more important cards in your deck, though, which is really interesting for the Scyther setup, which is you have energy removal.
Yeah, energy removal is a nice trainer. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It removes one of your opponent's energy cards, which is really nice because of the fact that the energies are the main fuel of the deck. Hey, opened another Dugtrio.
Ooh.
Removing energy cards from your opponent helps stall them out and basically sets them back a turn for setting things up.
There's an even better version. There's an even better version out there too, which is double energy removal, which you discard one of your energy to take 2 of theirs.
Yeah, that's a promo card in this game, I believe.
When you, if you ever get energy removals from a booster pack, you want to have as many of them in your deck as possible, and by as possible, I mean 4.
Yep.
Yep. 4 is the max you can have of any card other than basic energy.
Yeah, and so one of the things you'll notice is that when I'm switching out the decks to, rebuild them to have, different Pokemon and different types, is I will go through and be like, okay, what are my good energy cards here? Which ones can I now slot into the deck now that I've opened some from boosters? Chansey.
Chansey can be quite a pain to fight just because, just look at the energy on that Chansey. That is a big old stack of energy. Luckily, Diglett Diglett is strong type-wise versus Chansey, and that means all of Diglett's attacks will do double as long as there is nothing preventing Diglett from attacking. So right there, 60 damage to Chansey. That is half of its HP reserve.
Yep, Chansey's another big stalling Pokemon, likes to use Scrunch though, which is another ability that at half the time you'll deal no damage the next turn.
We're gonna try it. See if I get punished. Yeah, it worked out. Unfortunately knocking out one of my Diglets, but managed to stall out for a turn, basically, preventing my opponent from setting up any of their other Pokemon.
Now, Dijon is having the Scyther vs. Tauros conundrum, where, as was being explained earlier, Tauros is one of the few Pokemon that you can face this part in the game that actually can do damage to Scyther fairly early. But luckily, she pulls that double colorless energy, which allows you to get your Scyther to attack mode within one less turn.
Very good use of computer search there to pick the one copy out of the deck.
Yeah, I like that strat. That was awesome. What would really stink is if the double colorless had been one of your randomly assigned prizes.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. We've got enough bad luck as it is in this run.
This is very true.
I mean, this game is why I'm known as Dijon Bad RNG Ketchup.
What exactly is bad RNG ketchup? Is that like when you try to like grab a ketchup packet and instead it's like barbecue sauce inside the packet instead of ketchup or something?
Yes.
I see.
Do we have time to sneak in a pair more donations here?
I think so.
Yeah, go for it.
Beautiful. So from Dr. Goldfire, we have $55, so thank you so much. Just stating, y'all have put on such a great marathon so far, and I'm super excited to see Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. That is the next game on the schedule once we wrap up here as well. So if you want to see Assidious just run through one of the scariest games ever? Is this game scary? I don't know, I don't play hard. And we have $50 from Hactical, our Pokemon runner from before. Just stating, let's keep going for 10k, save the beard. And put that towards actually naming Bray in the Dragon Warrior 4 randomizer, Honk.
Yes, good.
We are less than $2,000 away from our goal, which is awesome. I think we can make it.
Yeah, I believe in everybody. I think they're gonna help us get there.
Leave in the heart of the cards.
Yeah, this time we actually have cards, not dice. So, shoutouts to Mr. Mime.
Shoutouts to one of the best passives in the game.
I mean, best is definitely a word you could use to describe this situation. So Mr. Mime has a Pokemon power, which is just a passive ability that a Pokemon can have. That if you try to do more than 20 damage to it, the attack does 0 damage instead. It's great, it's fine. I see nothing wrong with this at all.
Everything's fine, nothing is ruined.
Exactly! Everything is fine, nothing is ruined.
Hey, Leggy,
Yeah?
is everything on fire?
No, we don't have any fire types anymore, and we're not in the fire gym.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Deck, don't do me bad. Be good to me, Deck. There we go.
Oh shoot, I tried to switch to that last time.
Oh no.
Oh well, whatever. You just took an extra turn.
Yeah. And you got through, which is the important part here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fun thing about the Dugtrio Backlash against Murray is that all of my other Pokemon have 30 HP. So you really, really want to be careful with how you use that Earthquake. Even though it's super useful for taking out things like Chanseys, that 30 HP taking 10 damage a turn can really stack up.
Yeah, you don't want to, like, accidentally knock out all of your 30 HP bench Pokemon and have your opponent just draw, like, a billion prizes in one turn.
I've never actually lost due to my opponent. Oh no. Okay. Almost messed up.
Haha, me neither.
I've never forgotten to get the Mewtwo card before. What are you talking about?
That's other shiny Mewtwo.
Yep.
So, Leggy, what is that Mewtwo? What makes that Mewtwo so special, other than that it's level 60?
Give me 1 second to do the deck edit, and then I can talk.
Dijon, I'm trying to throw her off with questions at bad times.
I appreciate you too, dummy. So this Mewtwo has 2 attacks. No static abilities. Not gonna keep that. The first one allows you to draw 2 energies from your discard pile and attach them directly to the Mewtwo. The second one takes 3 energies, and it just does 40 damage. But that first ability lets me set up turns like this, where now I have all 3 energies I need to start attacking right away. Shoutouts to Pet That V.
Oh, come on.
Oh no, what happened?
I have a Diglett and Ronald has Electabuzz.
Oh no!
Oh no! So if you recall Ronald from the first time we saw him, this is a fight that we intentionally try to lose, but that's a little bit hard when he's only trying to do 10 damage to us on a Pokemon that resists 30.
He can't even do that much. Okay, he swapped it very well, and then didn't do anything.
As you do.
Ronald, what are you... Oh, are you... Why am I giving you good RNG now?
Ronald is very tired of winning at this point.
Like, Ronald, you're throwing the game, and I'm already throwing it. We can't both throw it.
But if you're throwing it, I'm throwing, then who's flying the plane?
But then who was phone?
Ronald is very bad at coin tosses.
Oh my god, I finally took 10 damage. Now I just need 20 more.
This is...
Plus
We
health.
love Ronald.
And he did...
Oh
plus
my
health.
gosh. Oh my...
Two fails. Why? This is why I like yelling.
Yeah, the RNG in this game is super real. I mean, for starters, it's a card game, so you're already dealing with the RNG of how your deck is stacked. Wow.
That was...
I have a potion. Hell yeah.
Oh, that was quite a Ronald fight.
But
But
then, this is a card game where people love to have attacks that require you to flip coins. So it's just RNG on RNG on... And sometimes the game's just like, nah.
RNG all the way down.
You have a 50%. You have a 50% chance of flipping heads, except when you're trying to break sleep.
And I have a 100% chance of flipping tables.
Set that up because I am getting out of this Murray fight. Gosh dang it.
You're on Murray still?
No, sorry, Rick.
Oh. I was just like, I caught up to you? I'm on Murray.
Yeah, I looked over, I saw the Murray wires crossed. Okay. So that's 7 of our 8 medals. I mean badges, I mean medals.
So, Pidge, when you flip the table, does it land heads or tails?
It lands on its side by some kind of magic.
There we go.
Yeah, now you know that.
That was nice. So in order to get a discard pile, I played the energy removal to take away my opponent's energy. Then I played Item Finder, which requires me to discard 2 cards from my hand in order to get those 2 energies in the discard pile so I can attach them to my Mewtwo.
That was a real fast Murray.
You love to see really fast Murrays because he is one of those trainers who loves stalling.
Yeah,
Just
the
loves it.
AI in this game, if it can't win, it will stall. And boy, does Murray stall. Alright, got the Mewtwo.
Yeah.
I don't remember to do the thing.
Do you have time for a donation? Because this one's very amusing to me.
Go
Please.
for it.
We've got $5 from Toku Hero, who says, Bad RNG is flipping the table, it landing on its legs and all of the contents remaining perfectly pristine.
Okay.
I got an item finder.
Nice.
That RNG will be flipping a table and it ends up under you.
Bad RNG is flipping the table and having a 99% chance to succeed and then missing.
What about Fire Emblem?
What about Fire Emblem?
What about love?
Also a valid question. Alright, here we go.
So Lucky is in the Elite Four, whose name in the trading card game equivalent to Elite Four I can't actually remember right now.
I don't remember either. For better or worse.
Some of these fights can be really painful. Jack in particular, the third one in the lineup, is a very, very heavy reset point a lot of the time.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about, like, the underlying reason a lot of these fights are so annoying? Namely, legendary Pokemon cards.
Yeah, the reason that these fights are so annoying is because the legendary Pokemon cards, each of these Grandmasters has several copies of their assigned type legendary bird. So, like Courtney has Moltres, Steve has Zapdos, and Jack has Articunos, and there are several different kinds of cards. Like there's 2 different Moltres cards, there's 3 different Zapdoses, so on and so forth. And some of them, like... But one of the worst things about them is that legendary birds have no weakness. So you can't just do double damage against them with any of your attacks. And on top of that, they'll resist ground. So if you were hoping to just one-shot anything with the Dugtrio, it's going to be a little hard to do versus them. On top of that, their attacks are incredibly powerful. Like Moltres, 80 damage, 70 damage. It's like, if you remember fighting Brandon in the Electric Gym with his incredibly annoying Zapdos, Steve has the same one. Jack's Articunos, don't take very... Like, Jack's Articunos, he could get, like, only 3 water energies and be doing a ton of damage to you. It's just... really, really painful.
And then on top of that, all of the legendary birds have a Pokemon power that comes into effect when they get played from your opponent's hand.
That's right, they damage your bench, don't they?
Well, each one has its own unique one. For instance...
Oh, that's right, yeah.
The Moltres allows you to draw 3 fire energy cards from your deck. The Articuno, I believe, is a coin flip to paralyze you. After that. And, of course, the Zapdos is the worst one of all. Which I am up against. Zapdos does 30 damage to a random Pokemon on the field, which is 9 times out of 10 the Diglett you have on just out there on front.
And it doesn't count weakness or resistance.
So it will just slice through your Diglett like a knife through hot butter. And if you only have the one, that's a reset.
One part of what makes it so difficult is that the Grandmasters, these are long duels. You need to draw 6 prizes to win, so they will have, like, several legendary bird cards in their deck that they can draw at any point. Like, Jack, for example, has 4 Articunos. There's 2 of each type of Articuno, but still 4 Articunos. They have pretty heavy HP. And they will just stick them on their bench and just power them up silently while they're sending their minions out at you in the first place, and boom, they bring out the legendary bird at full power when you haven't even been able to do any damage to it, and you can't use weaknesses against it. It's just awful.
Yeah. Luckily, the Steve fight's going very well. I've managed to get a fully powered Dugtrio, and so... hopefully there isn't too much left in the way of trolling that can happen.
Even though legendary birds resist Dugtrio's type, a full-powered Dugtrio is still incredibly powerful.
Yeah, 40 damage is nothing to sneeze at.
Indeed, some of these legendary birds, like despite being very threatening, only have about 70 HP, so 2 Earthquakes, even with resisting ground type, is still enough to knock out like one of Jack's Articunos, for example.
Yeah.
And now that the problem is gone, now the Doug Trio is just going to saw through the rest of Steve's deck.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to be in kind of a quiet mode for the rest of this. I'm actually on a really good pace right now, so saying that probably just screwed me.
Yeah, Leggy is actually on incredibly good pace. She only has a couple of battles left and is only 107 into the run, and our estimate is 145, and that just kind of shows you the power of RNG in Pokemon trading card game. She is on one of the harder fights of the end of the game. Jack's Articunos are just a real threat. And he has several other Pokemon that are just like gigantic walls of HP.
So Dijon's fishing through some booster packs. What are you looking for over there?
Just extra stuff. I did end up getting 2 extra Doug Trios out of it. So that was very nice. Well, I got 2 Dugongs. Only 2.
Yeah, luckily you only need the Dugongs for the one battle.
Yeah.
Energy removal is definitely a card that you love to see against Jack.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing a lot of stalling, you need a lot of energy, and just even picking off 1 or 2 here and there is gonna really make your life a lot easier. And then Leggy tutoring up the plus power with her computer search to get the one-shot on Lapras as well, just to make sure that there's no problems there.
Leggy being able to use Earthquake here is nice. She's playing this very well. She has no Pokemon on her bench, so she can use Earthquake, like, cost-free, basically. She's casting Earthquake, which damages every Pokemon on your bench, but she doesn't have anybody on her bench to take damage from it. So it's a riskless attack.
Hi, Articuno.
Yep, Dijon is having to deal with Moltres pretty much right out of the gate over on the other side against Courtney.
And she's just having plenty of time to build up the bench, so I'm gonna start that duel over.
That makes sense. It's unfortunate, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that battle was going legitimately nowhere and possibly backwards.
Yeah.
Now, Rod does not have any of the legendary birds, but he does have dragons. Lots and lots of dragons. And Kangaskhans, which, if you remember Kangaskhan from earlier, is a big time waster that just kind of sits there and stalls and sits there having a ton of HP.
The good news is that beyond the Kangaskhan, a lot of the starting Pokemon that Rod will throw out are the weak ones that you evolve into big, scary dragons. So, if we're lucky and go fast enough, we can kind of just rip through his bench without too much of a concern.
Also, luckily, he doesn't have any legendary birds to resist your Dugtrio attack.
Indeed.
You'll love to see it. Well, that was a nice quick rod fight. So Leggy only has one battle left, and she's about to fight a bald trainer. She's about to fight Ronald, who has come a long way from using 10 HP attacks with Electabuzz against a Diglett. He now has all the legendary birds in his deck. So what you've seen earlier, we might see again.
Wait, Pidge, when did this become the plot of Yu-Gi-Oh?
If only we had 5 people in here doing voice acting. That was like my favorite part of this marathon so far.
I mean, maybe next time.
I love to do dramatic reading, but you are seeing how fast the text in this game kind of goes.
You gotta go for it. What? Zapdos not attacking me? I don't understand.
Interesting.
The AI makes interesting choices sometimes.
Oh, no, the coin flip off the,
Oh,
Peal of Thunder.
You get a Moltres and a Zapdos back to back on Ronald. What a pain.
Right?
Leggy throwing a 5th energy on Dugtrio in case of energy removal here, just to make sure that Earthquake stays online even through a double energy removal.
Yeah, because if Earthquake goes down, we're in some deep trouble.
that was a pretty decent Steve.
Nice!
No Scuba Steve this time.
Alright. Just a bunch of mashing and...
Restart, because he started with 2 Articunos.
Time is when the screen fades to white after I get the legendary cards. Time.
Nice.
Holy heck.
Nice run.
Yeah.
At least this one wasn't as much of a runaway, because I'm only like 2 duels behind you.
Yeah, and like, this is within a few minutes of the PB I got when I ran this, when we raced this for Frame Fatales.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I forget exactly what my time in that was. I think it was 15.
Yeah, we did get one donation during the during that basically a clean one shot of the final fights there by Leggy, which is real impressive to see. We did get an anonymous $20 donation, so of course thank you so much out there. Again, this is Speedrun, and we are here and we are supporting Take This. Take This is a mental health nonprofit, and their main mission is to inform the gaming community about mental health issues, provide education on different disorders and prevention techniques, and reduce the overall stigma around mental illness. Of course, our donation goal for the week is $10,000, which is enough to fund one AFK room at a convention completely, which of course is an excellent service that they have at a lot of the bigger conventions, because sometimes you just need a little bit of downtime. So they are a great charity, and so we're really proud to support them, and we're really happy to have everybody out here supporting them as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Dijon is getting onto the rod fight, and unfortunately dealing with a Lapras right away, making the wise choice to let the first Diglett be kind of a sacrificial Pokemon as she powers up the one that she has on her bench. We're gambling.
We're not keeping that result.
Yeah, one of the nice things about the way that this game's RNG is structured that we didn't get a chance to talk about earlier is that in battles, RNG is frozen and only changes when you do things that affect the RNG, which include shuffling the deck or coin flips. And the deck is actually pre-shuffled at the beginning of the game, so if you play a card that allows you to look into the deck, you can see what all of your cards are going to be in order. And additionally, if you flip a coin, you know what that result is going to be until the next bit of RNG is called. So with these, you can kind of manipulate things a little bit to control your draws or provoke certain coin results from your opponent. Dijon doing a nice strat, using the switch to retreat the Dugtrio for free, which cures it of all status effects, including that confusion. And putting out the Diglett, which has a retreat cost of 0, meaning that she can just switch it back right away and basically do a full heal for free. Yeah, that makes sense.
Defender there's a really good play. That's Defender is similar to Plus Power, which you can attach to your Pokemon for 1 turn. It reduces your opponent's attack by 20. So that effectively just made it so that Charmander couldn't do any damage to Dugtrio, and she could just take it out.
Yeah, one of the interesting quirks in this game, and I don't know whether or not this is in the actual rules, but if you have a Pokemon that does damage to itself, Defender will actually help negate some of that damage, which makes them incredibly useful when you're building that electric deck.
I think I've gone last on every one of these.
Yeah. Well, come on. You got this, Dijon!
You got this, Dijon.
I don't got this.
Oh god, that's a Dragonair.
Oh.
You really don't got this.
Well, you got it. You got it this time.
Yeah.
Chat, I want to hear you chanting Dijon, Dijon, Dijon.
Dijon. Dijon.
He is.
I'm
He is-
not from the Dijon region of France, so I'm only sparkling tomato paste.
Scala is our restreamer and not capturing her mic, but she just was chanting Dijon with us, so we got lots of support for Dijon here tonight.
Kangaskhan is a much better start to see, although, drawing cards is a nuisance on their part. At least, we're getting enough time to get Dugtrio set up on the field here. And a sudden Zapdos ends the very quick potential kill there. And there it is. Ronald is defeated.
Alright. So, once I get all these cards and it does some text and then fades to white, that will be time.
GG.
Ta-da. I did it.
You made it.
Hey.
GG.
Alright.
So do either of you have anything to say about your wonderful run today? Because that, of course, is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I just want to open by saying thank you so much to Dijon for racing with me once again. This is our second time doing it in a marathon, the first being the aforementioned Frame Fatales run, and it's always a ton of fun.
Yeah. I lose every time, but...
You'll get me eventually.
Yeah, I was closer this time.
Yeah.
I was at least in the Pokemon Dome when you finished.
I also want to thank the RPG Valkyries for letting us do this run in this marathon. It's a ton of fun and for a great cause. And I know that we're under time constraints, so I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Alright, everybody. Well, of course, that was the ever so wonderful Pokemon trading card game with dijonketchup and Leggy Starscream. Right now, we are doing a little bit of setup in the background for Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion coming up next. So, stick around, because it's a really good game. It's actually a really interesting game, and you'll have a lot of fun with it. So, hang out, and we'll be back shortly. Hello, everybody. This is, again, Speedrun Ragnarok. I am Demarine, and I am very happy to be here this evening. Of course, while we're in the midst of a bit of a setup here, just wanted to remind everybody here that we are here to support Take This. Again, Take This helps people in the gaming community suffering from mental illness by letting them know they are not alone in their struggles, and there are treatment options out there to help. They are a fantastic charity that works with the gaming community, works directly with a lot of conventions, and we are very glad to be supporting them. And your donations and your generosity has brought the total now to $8,175 of our $10,000 goal, which would be enough to completely fund one AFK room at a convention for Take This. So again, thank you for your support. It's really great to see that. And of course, if you want to see a bunch of fun Pokemon runs, we did just break from the Pokemon block there. So if you want to see the tiny monsters have it out, that was just a great little run. So again, thank you so much, and we're gonna just take a couple more minutes while we are still in setup. So thank you so much.